This is part 2 of Module 3 in the series of Vista Imaging Clinical Capture training modules, and it will cover index fields and hold values. It is suggested that the modules initially be viewed in sequential order to become familiar with the options necessary to perform document scanning and image captures. Before I demonstrate how the index fields are used, let me explain some image indexing guidelines. All image captures are indexed in order to save the image to the archive. The index term files are standardized for all Vista imaging systems, and they are not to be edited by the sites. Updated index terms are distributed as Vista imaging software patches. Requests for additional index terms or modifications to existing terms are to be submitted on the Vista Imaging SharePoint site. IHS sites should submit requests for index terms by contacting the VA's Customer Support Help Desk. I have already logged into CPRS and selected a patient. Next, I will click the Tools menu option at the top left of the window and select Vista Imaging Capture, which opens in a separate window. The index fields are located below the Select Progress Note button on the left side of the capture window. The name of this button and the corresponding index fields is related to the association selected on the current configuration toolbar at the top center of the window. For instance, changing the association to radiology or administrative will change the index fields to be populated. For this demonstration, I am going to select Progress Note from the association choices. Fields that have an asterisk to the left of the index field label are required and must be filled in for the document or image to be saved. It is strongly suggested that all fields be filled in regardless of whether they are required or not. Doing so will significantly improve the ability to filter images in the clinical display application. So, let me show you the basics of filling in the index fields without selecting a progress note first. It should be noted that IHS sites will see different choices from their EHR systems than what is being displayed here from a VA system. The index fields are typically filled in using a top-to-bottom sequence order. And since I am not selecting a progress note yet, the date fields will be skipped over for right now. The first index field for this example is the origin field. The default setting is VA, but clicking the pull-down arrow at the right of the field will display the other options available. Next is the document image type field, and a selection can be made by clicking the pull-down arrow at the right of the field. For this example, I will select Procedure Record Report. The Specialty and Procedure Event fields are unique in that a value selected for one of the fields will be used to filter or reduce the contents of the pull-down list for the other field. This filtering capability should reduce the selection of inaccurate entries, as well as giving the scanning person a smaller, more relevant list of choices. One of my favorite hints for populating these fields is that the procedure event is readily known from the document or image you have in front of you. So fill in that field first, then go back up to the specialty field, and there will be fewer choices to select from. For this example, I will select biopsy as the procedure. Then I'll go up to the specialty field, and as you can see, there are a limited number of choices in the list. I'll select dermatology for this example. There may be instances where there is no perfect choice in the specialty or procedure event fields. However, a number of index terms have been added as a result of site requests, and leaving these fields blank should be a rare occurrence. There is one exception when it comes to populating the specialty and procedure event fields, and that is for an advance directive. The reason for this exception is that the advanced directive isn't associated with just one particular specialty, such as cardiology or primary care, whereas other documents can generally be associated with a specific specialty. The final index field is image description, which will automatically default to the selected progress note title or procedure. If no progress note or procedure is selected, the image description will default to the document image type entry. This is a free text field which can be used to provide additional details about the image being captured. I've filled in the index fields, and I can save those settings to a configuration button by clicking the Configurations menu option at the top left of the window and Save Configuration from the choices. The Save Configuration pop-up window will be displayed, and I will type biopsy in the box, which will be the name displayed on the button, and then click OK. The button has been added to the Configuration Buttons toolbar at the far right of the row of existing buttons. At this point, I want to go back and discuss the note date and the document image date fields. It should be noted that the labels of the date fields are once again directly related to the association selected. For example, the note date field is not present in radiology or administrative associations. For this presentation, I'm going to select progress note as the association. First, I'll demonstrate the two options for the note date field. I'm going to click the Select Progress Note button below the patient's name. The Progress Notes window will be displayed with the Select Note tab at the top left selected by default. This is a listing of all the current progress notes for the patient, with the Signed Notes option displayed by default. I will select the first note, Annual Examination, by double-clicking it. The capture window is now populated with the note title and the note, status, location sections directly below the Select Progress Note button. The note date index field is filled in with the date of the existing progress note, and it is grayed out, meaning it's not selectable. The cursor has automatically moved to the Document Image Date field. For this field, enter the date that the document was created or was signed by the patient, not the date the document was scanned. The scanning date is saved to the system automatically and cannot be changed by the scanning person. You can type a date directly in the box, or you can click the ellipsis at the right of the box and select a date from the calendar. It should be noted that even though the calendar window header says Select a Date and Time, and there is a time selection option in the window, a date is all that is necessary. Even if a time is entered, only the date will be displayed in the Document Image Date field. The second option for populating the Note Date field is to click the Select Progress Note button, and this time I will click the Create New Note tab at the top left of the window. This allows the scanning person to create a new progress note directly from Vista Imaging without needing to do so from the patient's electronic medical record application. For now, I will just accept the default settings displayed in the window and click the OK button at the left center of the screen. The cursor has automatically moved to the Note Date field, which is the date the progress note was created, so it is generally filled in with the current date. Enter the date and press either the Tab or the Enter key on the keyboard, or click in the Document Image Date box. The date will default to the Note Date entry, but that can be changed. The two date fields may be the same, or they could be different if the document image is not captured on the date the note is created. Let me give you an example of filling in these date fields. A patient completes an advance directive form during a clinic visit on May 7th, and it is sent, along with several other documents, to the HIM file room for scanning. The scanning clerk receives the document on May 12th. He or she would enter May 12th as the note date, since that is when the progress note is being written. They would enter May 7th as the document image date, since that is the date the patient signed the form, and there were several days in between signing the form and actually scanning it to the electronic medical record. In order to make image captures more efficient and to eliminate mistakes in populating the index fields, there is an option called Hold Value. The Hold Value option will save index field entries so that the scanning staff doesn't have to re-enter the same information for captures of similar documents. There are two ways of applying hold values to the index fields. For the first example, I will click the Select Progress Note button and then click the Create New Note tab at the top left of the Progress Notes window. I will select Informed Consent as the note title and leave the other settings as they are. In the Document Image Type field, I will select Consent, then right-click the index field label as seen here, and left-click the Hold Value option. A yellow pushpin is placed to the left of the index field selection box. For the Specialty field, I will select Primary Care and add the hold value. In the Procedure Event field, I will select Immunization and add the hold value. In the Image Description field, I will type Flu Shot after the existing text and add the hold value. I will save these settings to a configuration button as demonstrated previously and call it Flu Shot. The second way to add hold values is to click the Configurations menu option at the top left of the capture window and then select Hold Values. A Hold Values pop-up box will be displayed with checkboxes next to the index fields. Choose the desired fields from the list and click the OK button at the bottom left of the window. The yellow pushpins will be displayed next to the fields selected. It should be noted that even though they are listed, the date fields can't have a hold value applied to them. If a hold value has been applied, the index fields will remain populated after successfully saving an image. If no hold values are applied, then the index fields are cleared after a successful image capture, and the scanning person would have to click the appropriate configuration button to repopulate the fields. This is the end of Part 2 of Module 3.